Have we gotten our shit together, YouTube? Have we gotten our shit together here? Can I live stream properly, please? I've got the webcam set up. I've inspected that. I've inspected my microphone, my Blue Yeti here. I've inspected my mouse, my keyboard, all of that shit. Can I just run a proper live stream? Because I find it a little bit funny that I can actually run a little bit more of a proper live stream on my phone on Instagram. That's not even bigger than YouTube, but I can't provide live streaming for my audience here on YouTube. Why is that? Why is that? I'm buffering again. And I guarantee you that this stream is probably going to go black by the time people start showing up. It's bullshit. What is the fucking deal, YouTube? And yes, I'm going to say words like fucking bitch and slut, cock sucking, dick, and all that shit. I'm going to. Because you know what? You got your heads up so far up your ass, and it's the same thing with the whole Twitch situation shit going on, too, that I really got to call out upon. Originally, I did a walkthrough thing outside, made a video talking about social distancing and the whole Twitch with this, FuriouslySteph, whatever their name was. But this whole entire Twitch controversy with this whole council, not. If I'm buffering, I apologize, but YouTube is just not doing a good job with its live streaming services and shit. So I'm kind of pissed about that. Because I'm using a very high quality grade web camera here and my Blue Yeti microphone. So I don't know what to be pissed at. So I'm going to try this again with YouTube because it seems that shit does not happen properly once I open a second tab, but we're going to try this again anyway because there is shit that I do want to call out upon. And now, I don't support bullying, harassment like that. I do not advise people to do that at all, but I will be blunt about some shit that's been going on in terms. Angry Joe has covered this, Repsion has covered this, other YouTubers and live streamers have covered this as well in terms of controversy regarding Twitch and its Twitch council staff. And one of those people in particular happens to be someone by the name of FuriouslySteph or FuriouslySteph. I don't know. I think it's just easier to just play it off the phone. So what I'll just do is that I'll just play it here. Can you guys hear me, by the way? What I'll do is I'll look at chat if I can, and then I'll do any of that. Let me just go ahead and go off of this. Oh, okay. I didn't actually know you were streaming, by the way, Gage. I literally just hopped on. So, I mean, I did a stream on Instagram, but I literally just hopped on here.
The only way to have a level playing field at the highest level of play is to have is to not have voice chat, to not have people give up their linguistic profiles. I mean, and maybe you think, if you are a competitive gamer, which a lot of people have been like, Steph, you're not, you clearly know nothing about competitive play. Well, competition, by the way, y'all, competition requires you to get every advantage possible to become the top 0.01%.
So this is who we have on the Twitch console area, and I'll get the stream renamed and relabeled and stuff like that. So I don't want people to worry that I'm just lollygagging here. I'm just trying to get the stream thing properly set. But from what FuriousSteph or FuriousSteph, whatever, is saying is that chat should be, like in Twitch, should be disabled because of competitive gameplay. First of all, why does that matter? I mean, isn't that really kind of one of the vital areas of gameplay and streaming is for communication? Like, say, if you're playing something like Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Star Wars Battlefront, Madden, maybe. I mean, because in certain areas you need to have communication with somebody, because back then, we basically can't enjoy the good times of playing, like the N64 and the PlayStation or the PlayStation 2 when you are actually just sitting next to somebody playing a game. It doesn't work that way anymore. There's a point in time that we had to kind of move on and expand our horizons, and we kind of have to be distant with one another. And especially in terms of this, and not to bring the whole COVID-19 thing as a part of the main part of the subject, but to Furious or FuriouslySteph, you do realize that in terms of this, of competitive gameplay, especially in nowadays that people are shut into their houses, you do realize that communication happens to be one of the key elements right now, not only in gaming, but into the entire point of the world right now, right? So even if competitive gameplay in terms of, of chat or, voice chat or whatnot is disabled, the thing about that is that mean people are everywhere, gross, spine, Twitch, twats. I don't advise people to go around bullying her or harassing her. I'm not here to endorse this, but I am here to make a point about it. I'm not really going to get mad because I just kind of find this a little bit typical, but I'm kind of also disappointed in Twitch because I feel like they made a poor decision as well. But not only that, I get communication is key, especially in these times right now, especially with the whole COVID-19 stuff. Okay. It's not just for stuff like that, but just imagine when you put someone in power like this and they want to use that in terms of trying to have something removed or just putting in their place. And I kind of find a little bit of contradictorial elements that she says that it's as a fact in her own opinion or feeling, which that contradicts everything.
And in any video game, you have to squeeze every amount of advantage you can possibly get. Voice chat is unfair.
Not exactly. Voice chat in all elements is actually a way for a better, communication of gameplay. If I didn't actually communicate with somebody trying to help me on a heist in GTA, which we keep fucking up, and it's not just them. I sometimes fuck up too in terms of trying to do a heist on GTA, and we can't communicate with each other. Okay, and here's the thing about this, and here's why. Preferably in terms of people that I don't know, I don't like communicating with them. When it's people that I do know, that's when I communicate with people. That's my own preference when it comes to gameplay. I only like playing with people that I absolutely know, that I trust, that I respect, and that that I play with more often. Those are the people who I like communicating with. If something like that was turned off from that, of course I'm going to have more of a hard time trying to win or trying to get like GTA money or try to like win in more battles because there's no communication there. We can't tell what we're supposed to do and what we're not supposed to do, and we have to learn the hard way from things. So competitive gameplay, communication is key when it comes to things like this. But for FuriouslySteph, that's her name. So to FuriouslySteph, I really think that's a little bit, and this is just my opinion on the matter, communication is the key element in competitive gameplay. So yeah. And also be lucky that I'm not yelling, okay? I can't really be angry at something like this. I do find it highly disappointing, and I do find this highly cringeworthy inducing, but it's not enough for me to get angry about. You'll find out why here in a few minutes.
Can we at least, so many people have been with me for a while, can we at least say that the people saying just don't use voice chat or just mute are like being really dumb about this? Can we
I mean, some people don't prefer to actually have, communication with people. If they want to actually have it mute, they can have it mute. I mean, that's fine. Husband and I are also gamers. You would also be surprised at what she's about to say here, by the way. So, by the way, I'm really glad you brought that up, by the way, Chris, because you're going to find this next part amusing.
Can we at least agree on that? Like everyone? Some of you have more nuance, but please tell me.
I'll insert one ad. That's it.
Y'all still just don't get it. Argument here is, and I put it in the podcast notes. Let me just pull it real quick.
Oh, okay, so these are people that actually brought up the situation, but like I want to actually go back over in certain regards to FuriouslySteph because there is a particular thing that she said that I really think that needs to be addressed. Go ahead and. Well, you know what? It's the fact that she's made a remark about most gamers. I think she's pretty much encountered. I'm using that very loosely because that's not the exact word, but she believes that most gamers, in her own words, are white supremacists. What? Because I'm a gamer too. Like I don't like to sit I don't like sitting in front of my PS4 like 6 hours a day doing and ironically because I do that, but most gamers are white supremacists. What? I mean, where did we get the statistics or the analytics that most? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's probably some racist. There's most likely there's some racist gamers out there in the world. Don't get me wrong. I've seen clips of people screaming out like the N word or screaming out some derogatory or racist word because they couldn't get their way on Fortnite or whatnot. But this is just like SJW territory that we're walking into. It's uncharted in some sense, but you can't make the claim that most people who play online games are white supremacists. It's just bizarre. That's like saying that anyone who likes rap or anyone who likes metal or anyone who likes rock, I'm using music here, happens to either be like most people who like metal, rap, or rock are homosexuals, like most people, which makes no sense at all because you can make the exact same assumption with that with no analytics, no detailed information, with no numbers or any accurate information whatsoever. It makes no sense. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But what makes this more dangerous is the fact that she's flaunting or pretty much parading this sort of power that she has. She's saying that she has power and that it can't be taken away from her, and that pretty much all of us should be afraid of her. Now, if this is the case of people who abuse the rules, then this is one of those times I would have just said, okay, that's fine with me. The people who abuse the rules should be afraid of that person. I would have actually taken it that route. However, she has pointed it out that she actually has this power now and she can do whatever she wants. She's untouchable. She's invulnerable. And this is sort of a dangerous game that Twitch is playing because Twitch has her on this council, which brings her to this elite group of people that actually now can endorse rules. Now, again, I don't endorse bullying, harassment. I am going to say, though, but when you have implications set to you, they're set for that particular reason. And now I'm going to say this, and Repsiana said this. Other people have said this before. Angry Joe have said this, not in particular words. But this is one of the most disappointing business moves I have ever seen Twitch do. I don't even use Twitch that much because I'm having trouble with Twitch. But if I got in Twitch and I got banned because I'm using voice chat or I'm doing something that doesn't even break the community guidelines of the Twitch or the Twitch community area, I would find this baffling because if someone was in charge because they don't feel like it's something that should be used or it's an unfair sort of tactic, I don't want things run by a SJW. What I want is that if a company or a brand is being represented by the people that are running Twitch, I want Twitch to be run by the people that know what they're doing and they actually have the clear conscience and the fair judgment of people. And it doesn't matter who it is, a man or a woman, so let's not pull the sexist card, okay? Especially the fact that I'm wearing a Slave Leia shirt. For any of those feminists out there, they're going to get so offended because I'm wearing a shirt that actually has a sexy lady on there. So let's not get that kind of turned around right there. But I would rather Twitch be run by people that know exactly what they're doing and they have fair judgment on in certain areas and aspects, in terms of safety, in terms of people doing proper moderation. But when you put someone like FuriouslySteph in charge, and that she's using kind of her own personal issue, it kind of feels like she's using more of her own personal issues and shit in terms of this. Now, I'm not going to use this particular part against her, but I am just going to at least say that I find a bit of this of her, I guess, in terms of what she feels, doesn't feel like should be on there because of unfairness. But I kind of find that odd now because the way that she is portraying her behavior, not portraying, but the way she's displaying her behavior, and the fact that she's having, and again, like you can have your kinks too. That's fine. Doesn't mean that I'm not gonna find it weird. But everyone has their kinks. But like I don't like I just don't recommend that you share it because people can just sometimes take it weird or offensively. I don't know, but she starts having these deergasms, quote unquote, for orgasm, when she starts having, like, I know, get her head scratched or having these antlers on her. I guess she's a transgender streamer, which I got nothing against transgender, by the way. I got nothing against homosexual streamers. I have nothing against straight streamers. I'm a straight streamer, so yeah, I don't have anything against you, just as long as you abide by the rules. But I just find this a little bit weird that she's displaying this sort of behavior of her having this sort of reaction. And it's perfectly okay for her to flaunt this sort of this dangerous mentality that she can just get away with doing whatever she wants and no one's going to punish her for it. That is not how that works. Everyone has had that ability where, like, we've all actually had this type of ability that we've been granted something and we have taken it for granted and we have to pay that implication for it. So for her, on the other hand, I'm just going to say this, and I'm not saying this to be rude because I would normally get angry about this, but this is something that I just find cringe-inducing and, again, disappointing. So FuriouslySteph, because I don't know you personally, I don't know you at all, and don't take this disrespectfully, but you're not special. Okay, just because you were put on the YouTube community, not the YouTube community, the Twitch community staff or whatnot, or the council of Twitch and all that, you're not special. You were given the power and the responsibility to make things a lot safer and a lot more fair for people. You don't have that power to abuse people. And I find this a little bit odd that you are now blocking people off of your Twitter. You're also being a little bit more defensive because people have called you out. Now, again, I don't speak for the trolls. I don't speak for people that harass. I don't speak for people that come after you maliciously. I don't endorse that. Okay? Now, I may be angry at people a lot of stuff, and some people may have come to my aid and that shit. But I'm speaking to this because, in a way, I pity you. But I can't get angry at you. But I pity you. Because I don't think that's the way things should be ran. Okay? Twitch is not yours to shape however it is, because it's not your company. You have been given the proper responsibility and the proper power and the position to make things easier for people. And for you to abuse that power is going to make people more angrier at you. It's going to cause more controversy, and it's going to put you more in the public eye of people, and they're not going to respect you for it. You may have your fans, and you may have your fanboys and fangirls, so and so. But you got to also think that that's not the majority of people that have your back. The majority of people right now who see your stuff and see the way that you act and the way that you portray your channel, the way you portray your brand too on Twitch, shows and brings a big and contrasting reflection on who you are as a streamer. Because if you abuse those rules, Twitch and other companies will come after you. Now, I say other companies, but I'm really mostly referring to people. The community is going to go after you for that. Twitch is going to go after you for that. And I'm pretty sure the council itself would go after you for that, because guess what? If a negative implication affects the council, Twitch is going to come down on the council, and then the council has to answer for what you're doing. So therefore, it falls back on you. So do you see where that goes? It's like a domino effect. And that's what I want to pretty much go with this is. But I will honestly say that it does piss me off, because this is the sort of thing, because this is where I'm disappointed in Twitch. Twitch, you should know better than this. I may not have been around, but I have actually seen channels that represent your brand. Like, some of my favorite channels happen to be on this, that I think deserve a lot better of a qualifying position on her, a position in here than besides her. I think Angry Joe, or I think Far From Subtle, or Video Games Awesome, deserve a way better spot. That is just my opinion on that. So let me read the chat real quick. Rip Carrie Fisher Sup? What's up, Alyssa? Hi, Logan. Kristen says, I think that SJW is going to be in charge. She's going to run into a bunch of Twitch thoughts and abusers like Alenity, the one who abused her pet live. And I'm betting she's going to turn a blind eye. And that's another thing I'm going to bring up, because if this person right here endorses or turns a blind eye to this is going to also greatly impact you in ways that you can't even imagine. You will become a joke to YouTube. This isn't just Twitch. There are other places that are monitoring what you do now, because now you are in the public eye of people. And basically, since you are now representing a brand, you are now basically showing the reflection to other places, such as YouTube, such as Facebook, such as Twitter, Twitch itself, because that's basically what you're representing right there. But you're also affecting places like Tumblr. Again, it's all networked. Hey, CGS, how you doing? But you have to think about exactly what you're doing there. And if you think I'm attacking you, that's your prerogative. But I'm not here to attack you. But I'm here to tell you that what you're doing is not right. I'm giving you my personal aspect on it, okay? You know, for me, I don't deserve what I have. But the thing about it is that I remain truthful and grateful for the people that have that. Wait, what do you mean by that, Gage? Foo or F you? I don't know. Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't know what you were going on with right there. I was kind of like, I was a little lost. Let me go ahead and... Okay, cool. So, let's see. Is there anything else I need to go over? Do over me. I'm just double checking over a few things here real quick. The hair looks good and is very healthy. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's nice to be appreciated. Let's see. Hold on. I think there may have been an additional clip I was looking for. FuriouslySteph. Okay, well, here's some tweets that were actually from a few hours ago. Where would I go? Okay, so this one I find a little bit rich right here, because remember when we were just talking about that voice chat is unfair for, in competitive gameplay? Listen to this. This was sent approximately at 2:14, which is basically about seven somewhat hours ago. I'm empowered to have a voice, a platform, and a community despite a deluge of harassment, which again, I don't support harassment. I can exist and will continue to. And I find one of these tweets to be very rich because it makes a response right back. I thought, in quotations, voice was a disadvantage. Only if it's not a cis white sounding voice. What? It's from somebody else. I made comments that were taken out of context and sensualized that I do not represent my role at Twitch. I am not Twitch staff. I understand how what I said was misinterpreted and will continue to reiterate on my communication to leave less room for misunderstanding. Miscommunication. I just heard clips from Repsion, Angry Joe, and from certain other YouTubers, and I've known these YouTubers not to ever just take shit out of context. Now I know maybe back then, like with Mr. Epstein back then, I've actually had like an issue or so back then with him, and that's not the case anymore because I respect him again, and he's a good dude. But like people like Angry Joe, Repsion, they're not the kind of people to take stuff out of context just out of the fucking blue. I know some people may not respect them, some people do, but they're not the sort of people that I would say that would actually take people out of context. There's a magic button that does allow you to mute mean people. Exactly. Sounds like more Twitch told you that you don't have the power, so now you have to backtrack to your veiled threats. FuriouslySteph, I don't think you're convincing people. Ugh. And you're saying you're not Twitch staff. The Twitch Safety Advisory Council started off with a bang. So technically, you are a part of Twitch staff. You're a part of the council. So technically, you are staff. Gaslighting on her part. Let's see. Well, that stuff's gone, so I have to backtrack and find all this stuff now, which sucks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through and find at least that particular video. Protected her tweets. And he does get bashed. It's sort of the weird thing. So you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to go to old-fashioned Google and just find something there. Actually, you know what? Let's actually look at a video from a person who I actually think actually brings out a good point. I'll have to bring it. He goes by the username of like something penguin. I got to bring it up. That was 13 hours ago. Here we go. So Penguin 0. That's basically we're gonna listen to at least 12 minutes of this, and I've already listened to it, but I want you guys to kind of get the taste of what we're going with here.
Hey, what's up? It's me again, the Rotten Tomatoes for Twitch, here to critique yet another huge change coming to Twitch. I know this is like the 10th time I made a video joking about and talking about Twitch things, but I can't help it. I'm passionate about it. I fucking stream on there daily, so obviously I want it to be the best place it can be. So when a big change or decision is made over there, whether it's good or bad, I like to do what a high school stoner likes to do after their first hit of marijuana. Talk about it. So what we'll be talking about today is the unveiling of Twitch's new Safety Advisory Council. There may have been no E3 this year, but we still got a huge fucking announcement here thanks to Twitch. In a nutshell, this Jedi Council consists of both members of the Twitch streaming community as well as experts outside of it to weigh in on decisions made on the platform as well as potential policies going forward and changes to existing policies, making things clearer, shit like that. I'll throw my nutsack out here to be abused for a minute here by going against the grain and saying, on paper, I actually think this is a good idea. By having faces attached to
I didn't recall him saying nutsack before, but
okay.
People
feel like their voices can be heard. Whereas the entire history of Twitch has just had faceless people making these decisions behind the scenes, you know, pulling the strings on the marionettes and making
Xbox 360 is full of racist
and weird favoritism. Well, now with this council here,
I was never an
there
Xbox
are
guy.
actual streamers, very popular streamers attached to it that you can communicate with and get answers from. We don't know how much power this council is going to have, which still leads to a lot of confusion, but just the fact that they're taking a step in putting faces to decisions going forward, I think is a step in the right direction and making people feel like their voices can at least be heard. But I will say, I hate the fucking name of this. The Safety Advisory Council sounds dystopian. It sounds like something out of Judge Dredd. Just fucking pull up to an apartment complex over a noise complaint. Yes, I'm here on behalf of the Safety Advisory Council. Your noise was too high, too many decibels. You've been canceled.
Oh yeah, Keemstar is an example of that for the Xbox 360, I think.
That doesn't really instill confidence in people that hear that. Now, looking at the people aboard the council, I only know two of them, Carnage and Ziz. Admittedly, I'm unfamiliar with the others, but I'm going to give Twitch the benefit of the doubt that these are good fits for their positions. But Carnage and Ziz in particular, I think are excellent fits here. I'm familiar with both their content. I actively watch and I've tuned into Ziz occasionally. And I think both of them have a very good understanding of Twitch culture as well as understanding exactly what is and is not allowed and how to make policies more clear, as well as what policies should not even be there in the first place. As Ko said during one of his streams about this, he's actively fighting to make sure there's not too many rules that start suffocating the creators. And I think that is the absolute best way of approaching something like this with this kind of responsibility. Now, as I said, I don't know the majority of people on that list, but I am giving them the benefit of the doubt. However, one of them in particular, named Steph, has recently shown that the power is kind of getting to them in a certain way. And I'm not trying to be rude, but it's really hard to have a positive opinion of the Safety Advisory Council right now due to the drama that she's stirring up on her own personal streams.
You can't get rid of me. Twitch is endorsing me, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm just gonna dance.
See, okay, and this is also something I will throw in since that clip did play right there to FuriouslySteph. I'm just gonna say this, and I'm a little bit late to say this, but I'm just gonna say, how dare you do that? When you flaunt stuff like that, you're telling people that you can just do whatever you want, and there's no consequence for it. That Twitch is endorsing you. Again, you're gonna show a poor example by showing off this particular behavior to people. That's not what people want. It's not even what people need. What people need is the help and the understanding and the guidance for a better purpose of streaming. Hence, for the Safety Advisory Council. You are providing that particular service to people to make life easier in terms of streaming communication and, for gameplay and a better experience. That's basically the essentials of the job. Let's see. I remember being on Xbox 360 back in the day, and yes, it can definitely be quite toxic. What's the betting that she'd have a meltdown worse than when Trump got elected if she got banned? And this is something else I want to kind of point out, and this is going to sound boomerish of me, so prepare to call me, prepare to say okay boomer, but this whole cis, simp and whatever, these fucking terms, I really can't stand these damn fucking terms, cis white male and whatever the fuck, or simps. I just don't play along with that. It's just too much. It just makes me feel like the founding fathers and, basically the historical figures back then fought for our freedom. And this is basically the fucking shit we get in exchange for that. This is basically what our founding fathers fought for in terms of freedom. So that way I can listen to dumb fucking terms of this. And I'm not disrespecting anyone who uses these terms, okay? Because, I know people that use these terms and I don't use that against. It's just, personally, to me, I just feel like these words or these terms are just fucking ridiculous, in my opinion, okay? And I'll get right back on her. But I'm just kind of reminds me of one of those people that go you're a fucking white male. I don't want to get political and shit like that because it's just fucking stupid, in my opinion. But and then I got my device isn't fully protected. Yada, yada, yada. I got it. Can you let me stream, please?
Dance to your sad tears. I'm just gonna drink your tears.
This is her celebrating the fact that she's no longer subject to bans on Twitch due to her position, and I think this just lacks taste. Twitch has been a platform that's been plagued by very odd bans that have ruined lives. So for her to come out here and say that nothing will ever happen to her because of her position and rub it in the face of people who have been wronged by bans like that, I think just shows a real lack of care for the people on the platform. Now, I'm not here to humiliate or belittle Steph in any way. I already know a lot of people are going to point out that viral clip of...
And again, I'm on the same page with Penguins about this. The only thing is that I'm a lot more blunt about it, and I personally and don't take this as a way of I'm triggered or whatnot, and I'm just playing the offensive card because I'm just doing it for the sake of being offended. No, because if I have a legitimate problem, it's for a legitimate reason. I am and this doesn't just go for Steph, okay? This doesn't just go for her. But I am just personally fed up with every single fucking... I'm kind of getting angry here. I'm just personally frustrated with every single SJW out there. Getting so fucking pissed off at everything that goes on in the world because it's just for the offensive type. It's just because it doesn't personally align with them that they have to get upset about it all the damn time. That's what I just find personally offensive to me, is that they just want to take offense to everything. They want to be a fucking pussy about it, make it about them, and go on a tirade because it just hurts their little fifis. This is not what our founding fathers or the historical figures back then fought for people to just get offended at everything because it doesn't align with their views. I mean, hell, there's probably some feminists out there that are going to get so fucking pissed that I'm wearing a Slave Leia shirt because it's so degrading to women, right? Which, by the way, why don't you argue that to the bikini baristas that actually chose to work at a bikini barista like in Las Vegas or in Washington, D.C.? And there's people that enjoy doing that, so go enjoy arguing that to them. But I'm just so personally fucking sick of people like that. And this is me being blunt, by the way. Okay? I'm not speaking as a quote-unquote bully or harasser or a troll. But again, personally, I'm just fed up with people like this because they want to take offense to shit. They also want to just make it all about them. They just want to think that, oh, because it's misogyny, it's racist and shit. They just want to they want to like forcibly push their leftist views on people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm nowhere in the left or in the right. I'm in between, and I share the balanced figures between the Republican and the Democrat areas. This is as far as political I'm getting, by the way. Okay, so let's not go there, and I'll get back on subject, but I want to make this clear. I happen to be an independent who shares both Democratic and Republican views. The centrist area, because some people are going to get offended at that, is the balance or the steady balance between the solutions of what we have. Okay, you got your SJWs, you got your Antifa quacks over here, you got your far right wingers, and then you got your, I don't know, whatever you call it. Like, again, I don't have anyone, I'm not offended by anyone who's like a Trump supporter or Hillary Clinton supporter. Just as long as you just stick true to what you believe, fine. Respect and power to you there. So that's basically what I just want to say. So now that that's out, let's go ahead and continue.
Her where she's role playing as a deer having an orgasm on a stream.
The deergasm, by the way.
I think it's odd to broadcast that on Twitch, but it's not pertinent to what I want to talk about. And you know me, I like to joke about those odd fetishes all the time, like that.
Okay, and like everyone's got their fetish. Now, here's something I do want to address because this is my channel, and I will discuss it because I do feel like it. Why in the fuck? By the way, Steph, do you feel like that was appropriate to show at a Twitch stream? I mean, isn't that kind of the thing Twitch is having an issue with? Is the the other word I actually have an issue with is the word thought, because I can't say the word, like, I can't think of the word thought and map, the same anymore, because again, map turned into an acronym like a minor attracted person or whatnot. Because that comes into my head now, and it's like, what the fuck? I can't think I can't think thought in the way again, because the word, like some sort of hoe or a tramp or whatnot would come into mind when it comes to that shit. But I'm getting off track here. But I just find it weird that you're having an orgasm on Twitch, and yet issues like communication or voice chat happens to be a major issue on Twitch, when Twitch is having major issues with people that are showing off or doing sexual things that are pretty much not suitable for children, or there's animal abuse going on. But yet somehow that's good right there. You know what? If you are having orgasms like that, then by means, please take your shit over to like free cams or to some sort of pornographic website, please. Okay? And just leave the actual streaming and appropriate moderation to the people that know what they're doing. Because I find that contradicting abuse and turning a blind eye to a lot of shit there. So I'm going to be blunt about that. I'm probably going to be one of the only few people that are going to be blunt about that sort of shit. Now, again, I don't care about what your fetishes are. That's fine. You have every right to explore whatever fetish you feel, just as long as it's not hurting people and it's just not creeping the fuck out of people in terms of a public website that is accessible to all ages, by the way. All ages. But when you post that shit to the public, it becomes questionable and it becomes creepy. So, now that's in mind. Let's continue. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I also personally don't care for metal elitists in terms whether if I hate say one thing, anything listens to metal and emo should consider suicide. That being like me and Kate getting during a commentary about Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen, that fucking dude.
That steps on Brett.
Doesn't even open his church for people.
I think that shit is just really fun to make some jokes about, but they're just that. They're harmless jokes. I never like to maliciously target someone or try and ruin someone's life over a kink or anything like that. Whereas in this case, I feel like people...
And I agree. I'm not trying to ruin anyone's life that's trying to do a kink, that enjoys a kink. But again, there's porn websites for a reason. And as long as you are basically like 18 or above, then nothing's stopping you. But I think that's another thing that's kind of bothering me, is because I don't know exactly how old this person is, and it's weird to me. And not to mention, I don't even know the target demographic of this person, and she's having an orgasm on Twitch streaming, which I find a little bit bizarre. It's bizarre, and I find that very concerning too. So,
I'm just goofing around. They're genuinely trying to ruin her life over that deer clip, and I just wouldn't want to play a part in that. On a side note, before continuing though, that person that was stepping on the bread and ejaculating, they actually reached out to me like a year ago, offering to teach me how to do it properly. So they were super nice. They enjoyed the video. Just thought I'd throw that out there. So if you see me stepping on bread and coming in my pants, you know I was taught by the master.
Okay.
After Twitch announced that she's a member of this council, she went live and started antagonizing the broad Twitch community, in particular live.
Okay, Chris, I hit and listen to this part, because this is what you want to listen to right here.
It's basically just an XQC cum dumpster. Anytime XQC moves in his chair or makes even the slightest micro expression on his face, it's like a 30-second clip that's spammed for an hour. That subreddit is literally a time capsule into old Tumblr. It's like maintain the essence, that old fucking odor of Tumblr. It has this two camps. It's like a perpetual civil war. One camp that loves fake manufactured drama and getting invested in these reality TV shows on Twitch, and this camp that pretends to hate it, but what they love is loud, screeching, jingling key clips, but they also still do love that fake drama, so they'll come together and start upvoting all these drama things, and then they start attacking each other. It's a weird community, and no one hates live stream fails more than live stream fails community hates themselves. It's really weird. It's not a good subreddit. So I totally understand why the majority of streamers don't even like it in the first place. But what Steph has done is she's taken live stream fails and put that as the face of Twitch itself. So instead of just attacking some of the bad actors on live stream fails, she's attacking everybody on Twitch for a ton of different things.
I'm just not cool with white supremacy, y'all. It's really not that. I think a lot of you gamers are actually white supremacists. Sorry. Just a fact of how I feel.
So what is this? An alternative fact then? Because it's a fact based upon your feelings, so it's an alternative fact? That was a sort of term that was thrown around like, what, 4 or 5 years ago? An opinion is an alternative fact? Come on. But like, I'm so done with people like that. White supremacy this, white supremacy that. You have to be ashamed of yourself. Like, let me kind of like branch out a little bit from this. Not directly towards her, but let me go off a tangent again a little bit and kind of explain to you exactly what I'm also getting kind of pissed off about. Okay, let me just point out clear. Obviously, we all know racism is a horrible thing. You don't degrade somebody's race. You don't put someone down because of who they are as a person or their skin color. Doesn't matter. Everyone has a unique quality to them. Everyone has flaws to their person. Everyone has unique, traits, and everyone actually has a strength to their character. But putting somebody down because of their race is a horrible, shitty thing to do. We obviously know this. But what I'm getting so fucking pissed off about, and yes, I'm going to get pissed off at this fucking part here, is the fact that when people put you down, or someone says, oh, because you're a fucking white male, you should be ashamed of yourself. No, I don't have to. Because if you're going to refer to the fact that maybe if I had ancestors or if there was ancestors of any white person in this world that owned slaves and we had nothing to do with that at that fucking time, I'm not going to feel guilty for being a fucking white guy. You know why? Because that shit had nothing to do with me over hundreds of fucking years ago. I'm living life. I'm actually enjoying the civility with people, black, white, yellow, red, purple, blue. I don't give a shit. Okay? Because you are who you are as a person and does not give a shit. And which, by the way, I'm not ashamed to be a fucking white guy because you know what? I also live by a saying by what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. says. And don't try to guilt trip me, by the way, because I want you to listen to what this fucking says right here. And this also goes for you, by the way, FuriouslySteph, and any person out there that's going to say because you're white, you need to be ashamed that you're white. Why don't we read this together? In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. So I want you to kind of captivate on that a little bit. And yes, the camera shook. I want you to captivate that for a moment, okay? Because Martin Luther King Jr. didn't use the race card as an excuse to have power over people. Martin Luther King Jr. took it upon himself to unite people. Despite the wrongings that people have done to him and to his own people, he brought together people and marched for civil rights for every single person, not just black people, by the way. He marched for civil rights for everyone to have that right, to be in a civil world. And what have we been doing for that? We have taken a man's dream and we have colluded and polluted it into a fucking nightmare because if you happen to be a race, then you're a part of the problem. If you're a white male, you should be ashamed of yourself because you're a white male. Bullshit. That's like saying if you're a black guy, then you deserve to be a fucking slave. No, that's bullshit. We live in 2020 and you should not be ashamed of who you are. Who you are, whether if you're black, white, Asian, sorry, I was going to say Caucasian. I already said white. My bad. If you're Mexican, Spanish, if you're European, Brazilian, if you're Japanese, Chinese, that doesn't fucking matter. What matters is who you are as the content of your character and not the race or the color of who you are. It's the content of your character that pretty much defines the aspect of it all. So I don't want to hear for a fucking minute from these leftists. I don't want to hear for a fucking moment from these SJWs or whatnot, because if you're a white guy or if you're a certain skin color, you should be ashamed of yourself. Bullshit. Shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of here. We're going to use that argument with me. Now, going back to FuriouslySteph, by the way, because I wanted to just make that clear. The majority of people who play gaming are not white supremacists. There are a few out there. I mean, everyone has that good capability. There are a few people out there. The Xbox 360 community is a tad bit of an example of that. But the majority of people are not white supremacists.
It's such a fucked up thing to say, especially on a platform like Twitch, which is primarily composed of gamers. Not to go like 90s back of the cereal box slogan, but Twitch is literally like extreme gamer zone territory. So to outright vilify gamers by calling a lot of them white supremacists is so beyond disrespectful, and especially given your position as a member of the Safety Advisory Council. How does that make anyone feel confident about the decisions you'll make in that council going forward when you clearly already have a clear disdain for gamers on that platform, a platform that you now represent in a very high-level capacity, at least judging by the announcement? So it's just very odd because you're coming across as openly hateful and proudly prejudiced.
I said a lot of people with cis white male sounding voices are here telling.
And like, I really can't stand that fucking word, cis white male. First of all, why don't you just address it forward? People that you just have an issue with. Now, I'm not trying to burst into the personalized shit, but like, were you abused as a child, by the way? And is that why you're coming with this shit with the whole cis white male stuff or something like? Or were you dealing with misogyny before? I don't know, but this is giving me a fucking headache. Cis white, like, this is social justice crap. It's just fucking stupid. This is not basically what, you know, our historical figures have fought for. They didn't fight for shit like this. They did fight for freedom, and we have to respect the freedom that we're all given. And we have to respect the freedom of what people are given. But what I don't have to respect is when someone's going to put a fucking label on somebody because of the way they sound. By Charlie's, do you mean Penguin Zero? Like he's sort of kind of new to me, but I figured using his video actually has a little bit more of a bigger and broader understanding because I've listened to Repsion's video and I've listened to Angry Joe's video, but I like Penguin's video a little bit more better. Gives me a little bit more of a better and broader understanding. So that's just kind of the reason why.
But voice chat isn't a problem, and that is a fact. Y'all have voices that aren't marginalized coming in and saying, just mute. It's not an issue. Everyone faces harassment. I've heard it all. And you're just...
Well, yeah, because if you're trying to at least, break down from people that are spewing hate or basically abusing chat, I mean, that's a simple solution. Mute people. Put a block, put a ban on someone, and that if they are completely abusing that, then there you go. That's the sort of power that you should be using to properly moderate certain chats. Not to just go off and just ban people that either disagree with you or just think that it's just not a good idea. That's not the way that you use the power that you were given to you.
Like a year ago, the only way to have a level playing field at the highest level of play is to have...
He also goes by Critical, his original name. Okay. I didn't know that.
It was this opinion that really sparked the majority of outrage initially, because she firmly believes that voice chat really shouldn't exist in the first place. Now, I want to make it clear, she's in no way going to developers lobbying to have it removed or anything. She's simply sharing her opinion that she doesn't believe that it should be an integral part of games. And the majority of gamers...
An integral part, by the way. So let's also recap what I've said here at the very beginning too. Competitive gameplay and what is essential to streaming and also to communicate. Obviously, communication is basically the essential of gameplay. We don't have E3. We don't have. I'm just saying like things as example. We don't have E3. We don't have these gaming conventions. We don't have any of that right now. And basically, with the whole COVID-19 stuff going on, or the coronavirus, sue me by the way, YouTube, with all of that stuff going on. Don't you think in terms of gaming and communication, that becomes a more essential product, not only in terms of competitive gameplay, but also in, because of social isolation, this becomes more of a essential feature in communication with people, not only in terms of gaming, but in socializing as well. That way that there's also a form of communication into reaching out with somebody. I mean, hell, if I could actually use Twitch services for communication in games, not only in that, but just proper communication with people rather than having to actually use my phone or use any other type of service, that's an essential area of communication in terms of social distancing in that way. So it becomes a much important feature in that sense. Why am I saying that this is important with COVID-19? Because essentially, when you have things like Skype, when you have things like Twitch, when you have things like, Zoom, Periscope, all of this other stuff, those things become more essential in terms because of a life-threatening situation that is going on with a virus killing people. And how is it that we don't drive ourselves insane or in cabin fever? Communication. We need communication in order to stay sane in the world. We can't stay bent up and isolated and full of silence for the rest of the time being. There has to be some sort of form of communication, whether it's through Skype, whether it's through Twitch, YouTube, our phones, any other type of communication. So, from my aspect, which is contradictions of that of yours, Steph, is that it is an essential part of gameplay, and it's also an essential part in terms of streaming in general. It doesn't matter. That is needed. So it's not just for gaming, but it's also something that keeps people on the same part of life, by the way.
Understandably disagree, because without a voice chat, what the fuck are you supposed to do with your teammates in a game of Valorant? Use the in-game voice commands and just spam no, or in Rocket League, nice save. If you don't have voice chat, you have no way of really communicating with your team to win games. But for Steph, she believes that it's an unfair advantage or disadvantage depending on the sound of the person's voice.
Okay, and also, let's also point it this way, that if it's an unfair advantage, how do we know that she would not use that sort of implementation for her own use? She's already displayed the fact that she would abuse her power and that basically Twitch can't do anything about this. Bear this in mind. How did we know she's not going to just go over, do the same thing? She has communication with people while the other people are not communicating with each other because she doesn't allow that. How do we know for a fact she wouldn't do anything like this? Again, the behavior itself portrays much clearly to what she's talking about. So we have to take into that consideration that people can be just as lying and probable in their actions. I'm not saying she's doing that as a fact, but what if something like that does happen where people are not allowed to communicate with each other, but somehow it's perfectly okay for her? How do we know anything like this is just lie? But how do we know she's not going to just pull that sort of tactic for herself for a better advantage? So that's something we just have to keep in mind for. Let me check one thing real quick. Okay.
The voice chat. She argues that those with a marginalized voice have to resort to blocking and muting toxic players in their lobbies, which inhibits their ability to communicate and win the games. And that's a fair point. That shit absolutely does happen. Anytime a girl talks in like a fucking Overwatch lobby or Valorant, dudes will fucking dogpile on that like they're recovering a fumble.
And that has happened. I've seen that.
Flirted with or just outright insulted and harassed. That absolutely is very commonplace, and you're lying to yourself if you think it's not. It is, regrettably. And not to downplay the issue, but everyone gets harassed in voice chat when it comes to like higher level play.
Everyone has. You and I have.
It's not a problem that's exclusive to women or voices that are marginalized. In video games like that, there are just toxic assholes. And it's
GTA Online is one of those perfect examples. And let me also put a story in like this. And this happened to me in Red Dead Redemption, by the way. Some toxic players that are in a game. And I don't care how this is. If these people were trolling or if they were serious, something happened. So basically, I was basically minding my own business. I actually had a few dollars I wanted to spend because I wanted to buy all these pieces of clothing for my character. And these people are having a problem because I happen to be in their town, the town of Blackwater, by the way. And groups of people, they're throwing fits. They're telling, get the fuck out. You don't fucking belong here and all that. This dude probably only has $300 and shit. Yada, 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 yada. So we got I'm calmly just talking to why are you guys like this? I'm minding my own business. You're here taunting me. I mean, I could mute, but it was just too rich to pass up, and I wanted to just hear it. It got to a point where I'm just calmly just talking to these people, and one of them threatens to bash my head on a fucking rock. Trolling or no trolling, I don't put up with that shit. I don't. But I find it funny, the guy threatens to bash my head on a rock, and he tells me that I'm in the wrong. He just simply threatens me because I'm just talking calmly to him, and I'm trying to figure out why this guy's having a problem, just being toxic and shit, and he threatens to bash my head into a rock, and then he tells me that I'm in the wrong. And then certain people back him up, and I was like, yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. So I can understand, if something like that happened in Twitch stream, I can understand why that would be an important, an issue. I can understand that. And I feel like if we had a better solution for something like that, then okay, I could be on board with things like that. Some ordinary games also cover the whole safety council issue bullshit. Okay, then I should watch that too as well. Calling all gamers white supremacists is very asinine, and the gaming stretches across the corners of the earth. Gaming play is a big part of Korean and Japanese societies. In a way, video games are a mediocrity. And that kind of shows a big reflection to other people, too, about what this person thinks. And it's also a poor reflection on us, too. Because I think they're American, too.
Toxic assholes. And it's not just voice chat, it's everywhere. If you take away voice chat, text chat becomes extremely toxic. League of Legends has notoriously one of the most toxic communities around, and there's no voice chat there, it's only text. When I was addicted to League of Legends, I never felt so fucking bad about myself because of that voice chat, or text chat. So it's not an issue with just voice chat in general, it's just there's assholes in the world. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. But luckily, thanks to the incredible advancements in technology, we found the solution. We have the answer. It's called just muting the assholes.
Exactly.
You don't have to hear these things. You can always block people that are just outright rude and nasty. So I understand her opinion, and I do agree that the harassment in voice chat, especially for women, is pretty fucking nuts these days.
It is, and I can agree with that part too. I can agree. That's the certain thing I will be on level with in terms of FuriouslySteph. I can understand that particular area. But for these other solutions, that does not justify.
You can just not hear it by muting them. And yeah, it does suck having to mute your teammates, but if the alternative is just taking away voice chat entirely, it's better than the alternative. Now, again, I think there's nothing wrong with having this opinion from her, and I don't think it's means to just outright harass and berate her. The problem is the way that she approaches getting these ideas across and her beliefs. She's very standoffish, and anyone who disagrees with her, she immediately labels as either a white supremacist or an overly privileged cis white male. She seems to enjoy attacking the community she's supposed to be representing and looking out for. Like with the first clip I showed, dancing about her immunity from Twitch because they now formally...
And let me also point this into you, by the way, FuriouslySteph, and don't take offense to this, because this is just an example. So if you start labeling people as just cis white males or white supremacists, imagine if a guy turned around right here and just said that anyone who disagrees with, like any woman who disagreed with him, is just a dried up daft cunt or a frigid bitch, or an absolute thought slut. Anyone who disagreed with him. How do you think that would turn out for that guy? You know, how would that turn out for him? Because I'm pretty sure that he'd probably get a little bit worse. You know? So it's just something you got to really think about. Just because if someone has a differing opinion does not automatically mean they're a cis white male or a white supremacist. Anyone who uses the white supremacist thing just based off of a just simple argumental detail over something that's not even racial related, grow the fuck up, okay? And I'm gonna be flat out fucking honest here. And I'm probably going to get some flack from this from people who are SJWs. If you're going to use that bullshit in my channel or in my chat or anywhere, take it somewhere else. I don't fucking want that shit here. I don't. And in fact, that's going to be a fucking rule I'm going to endorse on my channel. If you're going to use this SJW bullshit just for the sake of being offended, if it's not going your way, you will be fucking booted off my channel. I am not going to have any of that SJW bullshit. Especially seeing this Twitch shit, I don't fucking care. I am not obligated to keep people like that around. Don't call me late for dinner. Fucking love you to death. Awesome. I love everyone in this chat. I do. I just don't want people who come into the chat and start saying like, "Oh, you're a cis white male. You're a fucking, you're a misogynist because, or you're someone who disrespects women because you happen to wear clothing. It just shows degrading women and all that." I don't want any of that bullshit. If you're going to put that bullshit in my chat or my channel or anything like that, don't fucking waste your time. Don't waste your time with me. Get the fuck out. Go fucking harass somebody else. Because the instant I see that shit, bam, timed out or banned. I ain't going to put up with that bullshit. Being edgy is one thing, but being offended just for the sake of being offended is just outlandish to me. And I just think it's stupid. I just wanted to end it off on that. But so you guys see exactly where I stand in certain issues like this. So for me, I don't care what you believe. Sounds a little bit contradictory, I know, but if you all happen to be an SJW, but to some degree you actually have the restraint and the respect for people and for yourself, fine. I will allow that because you can be respectful and all. It's whatever. Just there's some things that you should just keep to yourself. There's some things that I do keep to myself, and I like to be respectful of that. I have to ask, what is calling a cis white male supposed to mean? I've heard this shit for years, and I still don't get it. I'm going to be curious about this because I've heard this term a lot, and I don't really know what the whole cis thing is supposed to be. But the whole white male thing, I've heard this so many fucking times. And it's someone called Carl the Cuck. Something like that. That's what I've heard that from. So what's cis supposed to mean? Well, I think the original part of this is a chemistry word, which is also an adjective, denoting or relating to a molecular structure which two particular atoms or groups lie on the same side of the given plane in the molecule. In particular, denoting an isomer in substituents at opposite ends of carbon and carbon double bond are at the same side of the bond. Cis is sometimes confused with the word cis or SIS. So I believe people are using CIS when the correct terms is supposed to be SIS, because CIS is supposed to be the adjective in the word of chemistry, and they're using that term, and they're confusing that with the actual word they're supposed to try to use. Oh, they're also mistaking it for the word cis, by the way, like sister. Cis, short for cisgender. We do not make arbitrary distinctions between trans and cis woman. What? Referring or relating to people whose sense of near personal identity and gender corresponds with their birth sex. Oh my gosh. There's only 2 fucking genders here. Fuck. This is not even opinion. This is fact. There is male and female. If you were born with a dick, you're a guy. If you're born with a vagina, you're a fucking woman. Shit. Okay. I think that's going to be all for tonight. Pretty sure there are some people that may have watched this that got offended. Maybe. I don't know. But we'll just see where this goes from here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to check on something here right before I go. And I will edit this stream and make sure that it's properly labeled and all that stuff, and we got stuff going on. As for YouTube, get your shit together. Twitch, get your act together and take Steph off your council. Or if not, at least give her a proper warning, letting her know that she's not invulnerable and that she needs to take the position a lot more seriously, and she needs to live up to her responsibilities as someone who represents your brand. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to say right now. I don't know how I got here, but there are 2 genders. Got it. I was going to throw some Filthy Frank stuff up, but ugh. Okay, I think before I end off, I think this kind of brings me to my next issue in terms of gaming, by the way. Which, by the way, I'm giving a lot of props and shout out to Ed Boon, by the way, for the new Mortal Kombat Aftermath that's coming out soon, which I'm excited for because we have friendships. We have 3 new characters coming out, by the way. Fujin Shiva and Robocop. It's kick-ass. I'm kind of glad that we have actually included Carrie, the guy who played Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat movie adaptation, who is playing Shang Tsung again in Mortal Kombat 11, also in the expansion, and he's part of the story. But this is the part where I really got to tear into some people right now because they're always bitching, moaning, and complaining about having stage fatalities. They want Melina back. They're just never grateful for what they have. So I'm going to dedicate something to these people that will not shut the fuck up about that. Because they keep whining, bitching, and moaning about people like, we want Melina. When are we going to have Melina? Even though she was actually presented in a friendship, by the way. People are still bitching and moaning about wanting more stages and all that stuff. They want what they want. So let me play a closing song before I end the stream off. And by the way, YouTube or any SJWs, if you guys get offended at this, well, not my fucking problem. There's the middle finger. So let's go ahead and play this. We're going to play the full version, by the way.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. You're a stupid cunt. Suck my dick. Shut the fuck up. Stop being a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here. I just wanna let you know you're a stupid fucking cunt. Go ahead and run your mouth, pussy. I don't give a fuck. You're a stupid piece of shit. You're a stupid fucking bitch. Get the fuck up off my dick. Get the fuck up off my dick. Like these and you fucking.
I don't endorse that part.
Shut the fuck up. You're a stupid cunt. Suck my dick. Shut the fuck up. Stop being a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here. Yep. Close your fucking mouth. You're just really fucking dense. If you hate me while you talking, you don't make no fucking sense. Got a sad life, sad life. Go to fucking hell. Are you stupid or disabled, man? I can't fucking tell. You're a fucking dumb shit. You don't even run shit. Get the fuck up out my face and go to hell and eat a dick. Come and catch these hands, boy. Come and match these bands, boy. I'm not crazy. I just do it all because I can, boy. I hope you fucking die in a high school.
I don't endorse that either.
I hope you catch Zika when your wife gets pregnant. I hope you win the lottery and die the next day. And your daughter has to see you getting lowered in your grave. Like,
Yeah, it was.
Very poor taste. Shut the fuck up. I shouldn't have said that. You're a fucking cunt. Actually,
See, this part I can endorse.
I didn't say enough.
For a stupid cunt, suck my dick.
Shut the
Fuck up. Stop being a fucking cunt. Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here. There you have it. Now, that's the only part I endorse is just the shut the fuck up part, but you get what I mean. Okay, so I'm done right there, and you know what? I'm kind of like done for the day, triggering YouTube, because you know what? Part of my existence right now, which my purpose on YouTube right now is just to show YouTube that they can suck a dick. I'm going to say these fucking curse words. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to express how I feel, and then they can get the fuck over it. Because you know what? I'm not going to play this pussyfooting shit around. So now that I'm really done here, I'm actually going to end off the stream. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm kind of glad I got to vent out a tad bit, even if it wasn't like angry in a sense. And again, nothing personal against FuriouslySteph. Okay, I'm not trying to throw some bad shit your way. But again, I've gotten my shit out that I needed to say, and I don't really need to make it anymore. Steph, you're not the worst person that I've encountered, but I have seen some very cringe-inducing stuff. There are a lot of people that I have dealt with a lot worse than you, but this stuff needed to be addressed by a lot of people, including myself and others. But anyway, I'm done for the day. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you guys for showing up, and thank you guys for making the stream a blast. So, love you guys. Stay safe out there.